Yo, what's poppin'? It's Tommathan, and I'm here to review Boston Uprising's 2022 season, which was not great at all, really. So they end up going 10 and 14 with a -9 map differential and 10 points because they did not make a single tournament. In fact, they were not really close to making a single tournament at all. Just wasn't happening for them. So they end up finishing 10th overall in NA out of 13. So they get good enough to qualify into the play-ins, but that's about it. The roster in the end is Valentine, Victoria, Seeker on DPS, Itzel on a two-way, I believe. I thought they let go of him, but I guess he was on a two-way. Punk and Mag on tank, with Faith, Crimzo, and MCD on support. The head coach would end up being Askoff with Mineral as the GM, and I don't know who Girardon is. Never heard of him. But previously, at the beginning of the season, there was no Seeker, and Striker was there instead, and Marvel was there on tank, and there was no Mag. Mag would come over in the middle of the summer showdown, and Seeker got signed probably between kickoff Clash midseason madness, something around there. Yeah. And then head coach Laurie and the assistant coach Baroy would both be kicked out in the middle of the summer showdown, before their last week. So they had some big roster moves because it was tough. It was tough for them for a bit. But anyway, kickoff clash comes through. They end up barely beating the Vancouver Titans for their first win, and then they lose to everybody else except they beat Washington. Good for them. Washington would go 3-3. Washington were, an inconsistent team. They'd lose sometimes, they'd win sometimes, and they just happened to lose this time there. So pretty nothing really going on in the kickoff clash. Itzel was really bad on the Winston. Punk played some Winston. Mag wasn't there, but Marvel played a little bit. There was a bit of a tank carousel. Wasn't really sure what was going on. There was a point where I don't know if it was kickoff clash or midseason madness, but they really like to play a Sigma May comp. It didn't really work out at all. I don't know why I don't know why they did it. It looked interesting, but it's like you're rushing with Sigma. What the fuck is what? Hello? What's going on there? It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So that all happened. Striker had a big hissy fit, apparently, and then the CEO of gaming came in. Huck was like, there is no one player bigger than the whole team. And then Striker got booted. I don't know, maybe he was upset they weren't winning, probably. And he was like, guys, start winning, or I don't know. Whatever happened. He got kicked off. There were some disagreements for sure, and he went over to Shock at the end, but he was just not doing anything for most of the season. Midseason madness, more of the same. You beat the two teams below you. You lose to everybody else. You have some very close games though. You beat almost. You're one map away from beating Atlanta, Florida, and Houston. It's a lot of map fives. Did they win? They only beat Vancouver in map fives. They had 5 map fives, 2 wins, both against Vancouver. That's tough. Not a great look. The DPS line had some really good games overall of Victoria and Valentine, but they were very inconsistent at times. Or maybe not inconsistent, but Victoria didn't hit his peaks that often. I think he was very middle of the road, extremely mid, and then sometimes he'd have a nice game. It wasn't even like you're not like, oh, Victoria might pop off this game. Oh, we can win this if Victoria plays his best. It's just like sometimes he just happened to play all right, and then you get some close games. But Valentine, I thought Valentine had a great season. I think he was kind of held back by this roster, to be honest. I'm a big Valentine enjoyer, and I hope that he is somewhere next season to see if I am right in my judgment of Valentine and if he's actually good or not. But we'll see. So anyway, Summer Showdown comes along. They beat Atlanta, lose to Dallas. Or London. I don't know how many they played in the week one, but after week one, Mag comes in from the Washington Justice, and then they say, you know what, we're going to run an all Korean lineup because we can now. That's actually decent because Boston, for some reason, loves to bench Punk. For whatever reason, Punk, if he was benchable, he was benched. So they were running the all Korean Mag, Faith, Crimson. Oh no, Crimson's Canadian. Mag, Faith, MCD with Valentine Victoria, right? And then they were just not good. It was just worse. Like, it was clearly worse than what they started with. So before the last match against the Vancouver Titans, the head coach Laurie was fired, and so was Baroy, and then Ashkoff stepped in, right? And then they would run the NA roster plus Valentine, basically. Valentine, Seeker, Punk, Crimzo, and Faith. I guess, yeah. So the mixed roster. And they reverse swept Vancouver and shut Vancouver's door from taking their spot as 10th in NA to make sure they basically secured their kickoff or their Countdown Cup play-in with that. And the season, they were kind of turning over a new leaf because you look in the Countdown Cup, as soon as the management or the head coach was turned over, they get 4 wins. And yeah, 2 of those wins are against really bad teams, but Florida and Houston were nothing really to laugh at. Those are 2 good teams. Houston, I think, might have been playing Doge in that game, or at least partially playing Doge. So not as impressive, but Florida is a very good win. Houston is still a decent win. And the team was looking much better. They were much more exciting to watch. They were a lot better to watch with that main core. And that's why that core of, well, not the entire core, but Crimzo, Punk, Faith, and Askoff went over to the Vancouver Titans. And now they also have Sugar Free with them. And it's like, it's looking good. Sugar Free and Aspire, of course. I don't know. It's weird that Boston were sitting on it and they just didn't want to play their mixed roster. They wanted to get the Koreans in at all times. Countdown Cup comes around. It looks like they're going to be good because Toronto was looking pretty tragic. They lose to Florida because Florida was just the best team there. They beat Washington and then they just lose to Toronto. It wasn't really close. It is what it is. Toronto, when it came push come to shove, they had a superior talent in terms of the roster, and Boston just couldn't quite compete with the best of the best. But had they played this mixed roster in the middle of the season, things could have been different. You see all those 3-2s, maybe some of them turn the other way and they make their way into the midseason madness. They get some momentum. Summer Showdown looks all right. Who knows what could have happened? I'm not saying they would have been, 5th or anything like that. Maybe they just move up like a few spots. Nothing crazy, but it was possible. I don't know. It was definitely possible. Looking at their team usage compared to the league usage, nothing super crazy. They were a very evenly spread team for the most part. It matches up extremely close. I guess they played a little bit less Tracer than most teams, a bit more Genji. Valentine's touch right there, I guess. A lot more BAP, I guess. Or not a lot more, but a sizable more BAP. They did like to play Punk on the Sigma. The Diva in the Countdown Cup was the specialty of theirs also. But that's actually quite a lot of Diva. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing too crazy though. They struggled with their identity for a lot this season, to be honest. There's not too much to say about this team. Pretty underwhelming performance from an underwhelming team. Boston as a team, of course, next year look pretty damn stacked. I don't know. They'll probably do much better, I would expect. Decay, Striker, Izayaki, Lige Gon, Twilight, Smurf, Kalios. There's one more damage player I'm forgetting. Birdring. Oh, how could I forget the GOAT? Like, that roster is going to be insane. They'll blow this one and every other one out of the water, I would think, if you had a Boston 1v1 between all the teams of the seasons. But yeah, not too much to say about Boston, if I'm being honest. Have yourself a good one. Like this video, and cheers with my Boston Uprising mug. Have a good one.